today I'm doing Sexy Sadie by the Beatles. It features some of my favorite piano on a Beatles recording. It's really fun to play. Let's jump in. Okay, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description, and that's gonna help you follow along and see where the chords and the lyrics line up with each other. We'll start out with that iconic intro that Paul played. Here are the chords for that. It's gonna sound like this. Teach that to you note for note, but first it's instructive to just go over these underlying chords because we're going to need to be playing these chords anyway for the rest of the song. First we've got a C major, root position, C, E, G, that's middle C by the way, and you can do a C bass note. Often in the song we're going to be doing octaves. We also need a D major, that's going to be D, F sharp, and A. We've also got a G. And the shape I'm mostly going to be doing is here with B, D, and G, second finger on D, and that is an inversion on a G major chord. And then for the F sharp, you can just move every single note down a half step. So we got A sharp, C sharp, and F sharp with an F sharp at the bottom. For this F, once again, we just move everything down, this time all white notes, A, C, F, F down here. And for this D7, we can keep our second finger and the first finger where they are in the right hand and do that. So A, C, and F sharp with a D in the bass. We're in 4/4 time, so each of these measures gets 4 counts. I'm feeling it a nice slow pace. Some people also count it twice as fast, but I feel it this way, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this intro piano part, we're gonna need to be doing a lot of dividing the beat in half in the song using eighth notes, thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And before we get to the C at the beginning here, there are these pickup notes on a D sus2 chord that hit on the 4 and of an incomplete count-off measure. You can think 4 and with G up top with the E and then down to the D. And there's a little grace note from D to E right at the start. So like that. And you can think 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we hit the C. Let's just do the right hand first for the first measure or two. We got 1, 2, 3 E. We're thinking in 16th notes here, dividing the beat in 4. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So the 2 Ds are quick. 1 and 2 and 3 E and a. One more nice little detail here is on that C, you can do another just quick little grace note from D to E, just as quickly as you can make that change. Let's add the left hand just for that. Just on our third finger, we're gonna play bass Cs. After the little pickup notes, we're gonna hit on 1 and then the right hand hits on 2 and then left hand again. So from that C, it's 1 and 2 and then when we get to the D, 3 E and. So we're gonna do octaves here, the low octave first and then the high one. 3 E and. So we're together, we've got those 2 quick rights and then the left. This part's really fun. So after the 2 Ds, we're gonna move our hand up and we're gonna do a lot of thirds. So first we get into a root position G major shape and we're just gonna step up thirds. You can do 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 5. And then once you get there, notice that is the top 2 notes of this G major chord. We're just gonna start hopping down like that, but we're using the notes, the 3 notes from the G major chord, the G's, B's, and D. So it's a clear pattern here. B and D, G and B, D and G, B and D. It's all on eighth notes. Timing there is 4 and 1 and 2 and. To get the left hand in that section, all we need is the G octaves, and this is going to be a little quicker, also low to high, but this time on 16th notes, and it's anticipating the downbeat of the measure where we get to the B and D. So it's 4 E and a 1. Or if we take the whole melody there, 4, E, and a 1. So it hits between, the bottom note hits between the A and C and the B and D. By the way, this is going to be by far the most complicated part of this tutorial. Here's what we have so far. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, E, and a 4 and 1 and 2 and... Okay, so this is where we get to the F sharp. The next little bit is going to sound like this. So we're going to hop the left hand down to super low F sharps, and for this F sharp to the F, we're just going to do 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and just rocking back and forth on the octaves. And in the right hand, we're just going to do the bottom 2 notes of the inversion shapes I showed you before. So for the F sharp, it's just A sharp and C sharp, and rhythmically we're going to do 3 and 4 and, again, 3 and 4 and then 1 and 2 and. So from that G for the right hand, all we've done is just move those 2 notes down chromatically. So from the... Now all we've got to do is the... So we're going to hit D octaves here. Just nothing fancy, just hit them together. And we've got this fun little melody. And you could do maybe 1 and 2 like that, or 1 and 3, whatever feels better. And we're just stepping up thirds again from F sharp and A to G and B, A and C, and then back to G and B. And that's going to be the downbeat of the first measure of the verse where we hit a G chord. We do need those 16th notes for this rhythm here. This D hits on the 3rd count of that measure, so we've got 3 E and a 4 E and a. So it's the last possible 16th note that we land there. 3 E and a 4 E and a. I'm going to play that whole intro all together one more time slowly, and then we can get on with the verse. So now we are in the verse. Here are the chords for that. This is mostly chords I already showed you. So we're just going to get on with it and start pacing our way through this. Throughout, I'm going to be doing this playing pattern. So I'm going to just be hitting the right hand on the quarter notes, and then I'm going to be hitting usually the octave together on the downbeat, and then just pulsing on the 8th notes in between the quarter notes, kind of a rocking thing between the top octave and the right hand. So if we were just going to loop that on the G for a minute, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But the chords change a little quicker than that, and every time we get to another chord, I'm going to hit the octaves together. So we've got G and 2 and F sharp and 4 and B minor. This is the one chord in the verse that we didn't do yet, so that's just B, D, and F sharp. And this lasts for a full measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C, D. There's a little bit more here, but we can do a simpler version where you just go back to that same G to the F sharp. Again, C. You made a fool of everyone. G and F sharp again. F to D7. So on the first D in these sections, before it gets to the G, you do hear that same little cool melody that we did in the intro. I think this is optional because they didn't play and sing it at the same time. Paul played it, John sang it. It's a little tricky to play and sing at the same time, so you can keep it simple like I just did, but the way that's going to work is going to be Sexy Sadie, what have you done? You made a fool of everyone. Then just kind of pick up the pattern from there. You made a fool of everyone. So there you don't do it, you just do the regular G here. Sexy Sadie, Oh, what have you done? And you should be prepared to just go back to G there because that's going to start the next section. One thing I want to mention is thinking about how the intro transitions into this first verse. The very beginning of G on just this verse is a little bit more complicated because it's almost like we're still in the intro piano part. So after you do the, it's going to sound like that. You're going to hit 1 and 2. So this is one of the only times that the right hand is playing the chord on an and. 3 and 4 E and a 1 and 2. Sadie. Okay, cool. So after that verse, there is a second verse, exact same thing, it's just different words. I'm gonna play through it just for a little bit more demonstration. And one final detail I'm gonna add to this is whenever we have the wah, 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 or C, 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 C vocals, which is just the last two measures of the verse, I am going to switch to eighth notes in the left hand on both octaves just to get that pulsing effect. So the second verse is gonna sound like this. Sexy Sadie, broke the rules. You laid it down for all to see. You laid it down for all to see. Sexy Sadie, oh, you broke the rules. So again, returning to that G, but that is the start of the chorus this time. So here are the chords to the chorus, got a couple of new ones, and the general playing style is going to be the same, just returning to that rocking. So we've got the G, A minor 7. So the left hand is gonna step up to the A, and then these two notes both need to come up here. We can kinda keep our third finger where it is and then press down like that. So C major chord in the right hand, A in the bass. For this B minor 7, we're just gonna step everything up. It's gonna look like that. So B in the bass and a D major chord in the right hand. And then up to a C7, like that. So C octaves and then E, G, and A sharp. One sunny day, the world was waiting for a lover. If that C7 sounds weird to you, you could do a C major 7. I debated. The guitars definitely do the dominant 7. It sounds like the vocals kind of on the Sadie hit that, but I think they were actually going for the A sharp and they were just singing a little bit sharp. Same thing again. She came along to turn on everyone. Sexy Sadie. This part's fun. So we've got this A7. Just for this part, I am going to do single bass notes in this register, and I am going to pulse on all those eighth notes like we were doing before. For the A7, we got a G, C sharp, and E. 1 and 2, and step everything down a half step. So G sharp here, F sharp, C, and D sharp. Sexy Sadie, she's the greatest of them all. So once again, we kind of end the section with the first chord of the next section. That G I just played is the first G of the third verse. Let me play through that whole chorus one more time. 3 and 4 and. One sunny day, the world was waiting for the lover. She came along to turn on everyone. Sexy Sadie, she's the greatest of them all. Sexy Sadie. So that's going into the third verse. It's just like the others, different words. Verse 4 is the same. The only thing I want to mention, which is super optional because it's really tough, is Sexy Sadie, you'll get yours yet. It's just a piano overdub there on a B minor up high. Just kind of striking it as fast as you can before. However big you think you are. Cool. Then we go on to another chorus, which is just like the first chorus. Then we're at the outro. Here's the chords for that. It's just a verse, and it's going to repeat through that a few times. The way it connects to the end of the chorus is a little bit strange. So going from the Sexy Sadie bit at the end of the chorus, we've got Sexy Sadie, she's the latest and the greatest of them all. Sexy Sadie, she's the latest and the greatest of them all. So we start the verse chord progression while we're still kind of singing the lyrics at the end of the chorus on sexy Sadie, she's the latest and the greatest of them all. And when we hit that B minor, that's when it feels like we're really in the outro. Ooh. So one little optional detail I did there is for all the C's to D's in the outros, I'm going to do this little bass line Paul does on C, D, E, C. That's 1 and 2, and you can do the exact same figure on the D. Of course, you got to hit that F sharp. D, E, F sharp, D. And if you really like this and you can handle it while you're singing, you can throw this in throughout the rest of the song as well. And from here, we're just kind of rocking on this verse chord progression. I'm gonna do that 8th note pulse in the left hand the whole time. Made a fool of everyone. So there's these little kind of ad-lib vocals you can add in. Then it loops around again. So on the recording, it repeats. There's a few more ad-lib vocals, and then it slowly fades out. That's tough to do when it's just you and piano. So I'm going to definitely do 2 times through the progression, and then you can end on a G, which sounds like a little too right and almost cheesy for the Beatles. So maybe instead what I'll do is after 2 times through the progression, after the F, D7, I'll start a 3rd time and end on the B minor. That also feels final. It's a little darker though. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then that is the end of the song. Okay, thank you for watching. I am now going to do a full playthrough so you can see how all the parts fit together in the full song. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, give it a like. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. Okay, here's my version of Sexy Sadie.